Gear up, scooter fam. Today I got 6 scooters that I'm going to go over that I believe are the best bang from the buck, from the least expensive to the most expensive. Alright, today we're going to go over 6 scooters that I have listed. I'm not going to compare them to other scooters in the same price. I took 6 from each price point, starting under $1,000 and going up to over $1,000 with $500 increments in between. So $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, and $3,000. So and then of course 3,000 plus for the last one. That's what we're going for. This is not necessarily my favorite scooters. These are not necessarily scooters that I would pick, because there may be other qualities about the scooter that might sway you to go one way or the other, might sway me to go one way or the other. But the idea for this video is to find the best bang for the buck based on stats overall. Taking a look at speed, range, power, all those things, not just taking on what my opinion is of the scooter necessarily, as long as it gets the stats. This is strictly for stats, and these are still available. So these are still available. All right, before we get into the video, just like to remind you that there are 3 ways to support the channel. You can join me on Patreon, buy me a coffee, or pick up some merch. I have links in my profile, and I'll add them to the description of this video. Thanks for your support. All right, so the first scooter, as you can see in the background, is the Apollo Go. It's my favorite for under $1,000. This one topped it out. What I really liked about it, it's got a 25 mile an hour top speed. It's super light, super portable. So if you're going to spend less than $1,000, you don't necessarily need something super bulky to carry around. You want something that has decent performance and it can kind of toss into the back of your car, something like that. I like the Hover One Journey Maxes, which is what I got for that. But the Apollo Go is a nicer scooter than the Journey Max. But I have something that sort of fits that need at the moment. It's got tubeless tires, which I like. They're 9 inches, but they're tubeless. 36-volt battery, which just like my Journey Max, is 700 watts. Power between 2 350 watt motors, also just the same as my Journey Max. So this does have suspension, and compared to the Journey Max, has none. It's got an IP66 rating, and it is UL listed. The Journey Max is also UL listed, but an IP54. So yeah, that's why I picked the Go. I just felt like, it's got the suspension. It's got a nice, it's very light. You can still go 25 miles per hour, get over 18 miles of range for under $1,000. For that type of performance, I feel like it's probably the best available. Next up on the list, you guys have heard me talk about before, and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, as long as it stays this price available, and nothing else really competes with it too much. That's the Wolf Warrior X. You get a ton of performance for really, at the moment, under $1,400. It's $14.99, but there's an additional $100 off when I put it in the cart. I don't remember the code, but I'll list codes up above for any codes that I have for the scooters that I'm going over today. Instead of me saying it every time, I'll go ahead and let you know that I'll put all the scooter codes above as I go along. You can just sort of expect that. So there is a $100 off coupon for this, which brings it down to $13.99. And yeah, I think it's a great deal. It goes 45 miles an hour, gets over 30 miles of range. Weighs about 80 pounds, which is a tad heavy, but for this size of scooter, you expect that. It's a 60-volt system. You get a 60-volt system for under $1,500. A paddle throttle. The only real drawback to this scooter at all, I mean, it comes with, I think, a trigger throttle, but you can change it out for a paddle throttle. If you get the center one with the center display, you can just order the paddle throttle and switch it out, which I would. The only downside to this, though, is the tubed tires. They're not a big deal because it's a split rim, but I would prefer tubeless tires. But it just has so much more to offer that it's just really, it's kind of worth it just to be able to buy the scooter at the price it's at. So next up we have the Solar P1 Pro. Bang for the buck. This thing pretty much has it under $2,000. It's also on sale for 12% off with the code. I'll put it above, but it's BF12, and it gets you 12% off, which comes out to just over $1,750 after the discount, which is not bad, and definitely offers the most bang for the buck in this category. So top speed is 50 miles per hour with a range of over 30 miles. 0 to 15 is 2 seconds. I'm sorry, yeah, just 2.1 actually. Weighs over 90 pounds, which is pretty heavy, but can support up to 330 max weight. So you gain that. Motor power is 2 times 1,000. Two 2,000 watt motors, so 4,000 total. A 60-volt battery setup. Does have a thumb throttle or a paddle throttle, and dual hydraulic brakes, 11-inch tires. So this is the first scooter that has 11-inch tires. The IP rating is IP54, but it does everything else exceptionally well as far as stats go, which is why it got the best bang for the buck between $1,500 and $2,000. The next one may be no secret. The InMotion RS Lite comes in next as the best value for under $2,500, between $2,000 and $2,500. I think it has the best value. Top speed of over 53 miles per hour and a range of over 45 miles of range. So definitely worth the money, I think, at the current moment for the InMotion RS Lite. Weighs about 120 pounds, got two 1,500 watt motors, but it's a 72 volt system with a 0 to 15 time of 1.8. Dual hydraulic brakes, of course, 11-inch tubeless tires with an IPX6 rating. Anything under $2,500 really doesn't have too much to compete with as far as stats for the RS Lite. Really good deal. Next on the list may not be a secret, the Twing GT Pro. But you can get it here or Fluid, I believe for $28.99 both places. This one has a code that was working for Cabo 100 or whatever. I'll make sure that still works, and if so, I'll post it above. And same with the Fluid Freeride version. The difference is Fluid will support the scooter for the life of the scooter by offering 50% off of their products, 50% off of their parts and so forth that for upkeep on your scooter once you're ongoing. So that's a deal. But like I said, this is Cabo's site. They still offer a good deal with it. So it kind of depends which way you want to go with it. They don't, either place could run out of stock for these things or whatever. So, keep that in mind. But right now, the GT Pro is the best deal under $3,000, hands down. Goes 61 miles an hour, 55 miles of range, 0 to 15 on 1.8. It weighs over 120 pounds, which is fairly heavy. It does support a max weight of 330 though, so still pretty good. Two 2,000 watt motors and a 72 volt battery system. It comes with a trigger throttle, but I believe you could trade it out for the paddle throttle. It comes free on the Cabo site, but it is an additional fee on the Fluid site. Of course, if you wait to order it until you have your Cabo Twing, then you can get that for half off. So there are benefits to doing that, depending on which way you want to go. So for what is it? IPX5 11-inch tubeless tires as well. They have sealant The Go has sealant. P1 Pro has sealant. So none of these have a UL listing besides the Apollo Go. So I wasn't, none of the scooters that I picked under the Go besides the Go have a UL listing. Not intentional. It's just how it turned out. When you have all these beefy specs, it just seems like the scooters that come out on top are not necessarily UL listed. So I put them down anyway, but it's got an IPX5 rating, which I think is fine. As long as it's got the 5 on the end there or above, I'm happy. A little below, I mean, it's not the end of the world. That's just like the P1 Pro here, but it just has so much else for the money that it's hard to beat. Wolf King GT Pro, a definite deal. Overall, I mean, just to be perfectly honest, like bang for the buck, at $28.99, $2,900. Although it's not quite fair to compare it to other price points, I really like this one. I think that it gives you so much for your money. But that will bring up my next guess, which you can also argue that you have that kind of the bang for the buck for sure in the Mars XTR Twing, and this is at the top of my list as far as price goes. It's over $3,000, but offers the best bang for the buck. Right now, they only have the black version available. The camouflage version is sold out, and they had it at $30.99, I think, which was a crazy deal. But of course, it did not come with the turn signals, and then there was something different. I don't recall. There was another small difference, but anyway, this one has the turn signals, which I like quite a bit, and so this is my best pick for the most money you can spend. Well, obviously you can spend more money, but over $3,000, which is the highest that I chose, and get bang for the buck. This scooters offers quite a bit for $32.49. If you consider this, even though that because I separated them out, that this would compete with the Wolf King GT, for a little bit less. It's tough to say. I still like the GT a tad better for $28.99. Still a fabulous deal. If the camouflage was still available, although I don't necessarily like the camouflage, as far as value goes, it would offer a wonderful value, but it's not available. So for the Twing, for $32.49, you get over 65 miles per hour top speed, which is insane. Over 55 miles of range as well. It has a 0 to 15 time of 1.6 seconds, which is some of the fastest that I've seen while looking around. Of course, it has a weight that also is goes along with that, over 135 pounds, which is quite getting to be quite heavy. It also supports over 440 pounds, which is good. 4,000 watt, 2,000 watt motors, 72 volt system, of course, largest battery on the list. Of course, it's the biggest scooter on the list and the heaviest scooter on the list. It does have a thumb throttle. I think it's actually a thumb throttle, and then dual hydraulic brakes, and then of course hydraulic shocks. They're 11-inch tubeless tires with sealant, and it's also IP66 rating. So great waterproof rating, great top speed. I like the turn signals on there. They kind of remind me of the Klima, which I also like quite a bit. And the scooter just offers quite a bit for what you get for the money. Top scooter. Bang for the buck. All right, guys, there's my list. There are 6 scooters that I picked out to offer the best bang for the buck based on specs, and I went over all of them. If you enjoyed this content and you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Consider joining me on Patreon, buying me a coffee, or picking up some merch. Thanks, and happy riding.